Hi guys, welcome back to the Funky Evolution Party. I'm Alice Green. So, I think this is it. This is going to be the final topic, and it is about relationships because after we go through sex and sexuality, and again, oppressing and repressing ourselves through what's cool and what's not, and all of these trends and everything, I want to talk about relationships. And partnerships, particularly going back to the church and religion and marriage and, the whole taboo about sex before marriage and all of that, that has actually led society down this path of everything being like hidden. So child trafficking and everything can actually keep pushed further and further down the line. Well, oh, we can't talk about that. It's taboo. Well, guess what? It's not taboo. Let's talk about relationships. And again, as I discussed, for women, the only form of survival was prostitution or getting married. These two things is what has led us to the oppression of today. Because for me to get married to someone I don't like, I'm not just oppressing myself, I'm oppressing the man that I'm marrying. Number and he's oppressing me, vice versa. He's going to be cheating on me. He's going to be doing all sorts. I'm going to be unhappy. My children are going to see that unhappiness, and that will just be a vicious cycle. Ah, and it is. I've seen it. I see it almost daily. And then I see relationships that where not just the man or the woman get the other person pregnant or vice versa, just to hold on to that individual. So therefore the man or the woman is too scared to leave because they'll never see their children again. Now, I can tell you from personal experience, I have been in an abusive relationship for 6 years. No matter what you say to this individual, you say no and say no, and they keep going and 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 going. Oppression, 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 oppression. Now, we have to draw the line and look at each other and understand what our consistent is doing to the other person and how that then affects the child. So, this particular individual who literally is the biggest thorn in my arse. No matter what you try and do to remove that, it's because of his psychology that has led him to the way he is. Now, I can ignore it, I can do whatever, but at the end of the day, until we start looking at where our psychology has been triggered and then how that affects other individuals and then how that affects our children and then what effects does that have on our children growing up. We're all talking about mental health, mental health. Why are we so messed up? I'll tell you why. Because we're not about equality. We're about, I got more power than you, more power than you, more power than you. Actually, by trying to take away someone else's power, you're actually taking away the entire family's power. Because you oppress a woman, and then what happens? The kids become oppressed, the house doesn't get cleaned, she's God knows doing whatever, and it's a miserable existence for both parties. And, for me to stay in a loveless relationship just for my kids is actually really detrimental to my children because they see that unhappiness. They see doing things that they don't want to do, and they know that you don't want to be there. They know that. And at the end of the day, the subliminal psychology that you're implementing into that child is not a positive form. By you sticking around and being miserable doesn't make that child happy, doesn't make the other person who's keeping you there happy. At the end of the day, that other person who's trying to trap you needs to understand that they have their own insecurities, but by releasing these insecurities, you're setting everybody free. Now we're freedom, equality, freedom, but I'm just going to trap you. Really? Okay. Now, there's lots of people that think that this whole traditional children should have a mother and a father and the family and of tradition and all of that. But after being, and I'm a really, 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 really fair person, I want my children to know who they are, experience the full spectrum of life. But the second that someone starts to try and oppress me or push me, I push back. Now, I'm really lucky because I'm not scared to push you back. But there are a lot of women and men out there who are too scared because they'll never see their kids again, because the money will be taken away and they don't know how to live. You know, there are so many things that scare people, but actually the biggest fear should be trapped in a loveless relationship that does not provide you and your children with the full spectrum of love and, you know, the pleasure of enjoying having your children around. You know, when when someone's stressing you out and making you feel horrible, no matter what you do with your children, you're going to be processing that information. They feel that information, and at the end of the day, that's why we have so many messed up adults, because throughout the ages and throughout history, I married you for money, I don't love you, you're cheating on me with everybody else, it's a loveless, oh, got the credit card. Okay, what do things buy you? These material possessions, people have had their houses just burnt. Everything is gone. So you're wasting your life in a loveless relationship, in an abusive relationship, in an oppressive relationship. For what? I want to ask you guys that serious question, because the fear of being alone and working for to produce what you can do in life versus selling yourself and your soul and every piece of your freedom for money. Look at your value systems. Look at where the value of what you're actually doing is, not only to yourself, your partner, and the offspring, because unless we're looking at really revamping relationships where people become more equal, and respecting each other, because that is the key, is respect. I'm upsetting you, I better stop now. Not I'm upsetting you because someone else has upset me. That's not how it works. You can't keep breaking the vase, putting it back together, and there's a crack and there's a chip and I've lost a piece, and that vase will never look the same again, and it will just keep, water will come out all the way. And really, really essential that we start to dig a little deeper beyond the physical needs and look at our emotional needs, our psychological needs. I had nothing, right? It's very difficult for me to go out and work when I've got two small twin boys. However, if I was to show you my lovely flat, I've got everything I need. I find everything I need. People's kindness and generosity helps you. The trick is that you believe that you deserve better than the treatment that you're receiving. And the only way that you're going to change that is by acknowledging, number one, where my psychology might need to be adjusted. Number two, if you are in a relationship, what is that relationship based on? Right? Is it a material? Are you trapping somebody? Is someone trapping you? Because if you're being trapped, you're not alive. You know, you're just spinning these wheels, and then you just become this physical thing. But what about inside? What about that heartbeat? Again, food, fashion, humor, and music makes the heart go boom, boom, boom. And if it's not doing that, then what is the actual point? So I'm not telling everyone to go get a divorce or to split up or to go hook up or any of that. That's not the way I'm working it. What I want you guys to be aware of is how society is trapping you and locking you into these boxes. Quick, lock it, tie it up, so it can't move, so it can't get out. Things will eventually start seeping through the sides, and that's coming out in our children. That's coming out in the oppression of both the masculine and the feminine, and then why our children want to be a male or a female and change their sexes rather than actually coming to grips with who they are, looking at the role models around them. So, you know, I'm a woman, single mom raising my boys, but we do archery together. We do lots of things that are considered, oh, you know, you can't raise boys on your own. Yes, I can. And watch me. Anyway, I'm going to leave you guys on that note, because I think I have pretty much wrapped things up. So please like, share, and get the message out there.